On my right, there's two bulls fighting. I can see them going, their bodies moving back and forth between the trees. And then all of a sudden I hear this.
Didn't go 20. Woo!
I shot him. Did you hear that?
No. We both just shot the same bull.
Shot him first.
He shot him first. Oh my gosh. What a heck of a pursuit, dude. All freaking day.
Just dropped my first archery bull elk. 6x6. Right behind the shoulder. Dropped him. You dropped him, Dad.
Dad, you dropped him. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, Father, we praise you. Thank you, Lord. Congratulations, Dad. You just shot your first bull elk.
I think we're gonna find one.
Love you.
So happy for you.
When your buddy calls you, says he got a buck down. And what does he got? A buck down. Look what I found. What a sweet coon, man. Opening day, heck yeah. Way to go, Steve.
See, the arrow went in pretty deep. Congrats, buddy. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Arizona Archery Club is a premier partner with Bowhunting AZ. When it comes to attention to detail and a fiery passion, Arizona Archery Club brings it all to the table. With all the latest bows and archery equipment, you can demo every single model in person free of charge in their multiple demo rooms. Walk through the process with an experienced bow tech and see which bow is right for you without the sales pressure. Their indoor archery range offers air-conditioned lanes where you can shoot out to 40 yards. Take this awesome opportunity to hone in your accuracy and technique. When you visit, be sure to mention that you're a listener to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Let's all support local. National Automotive Repair is a locally owned and operated auto repair shop in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona. Jake McLaughlin and his team operate their business with a foundation of honesty, quality, and integrity. From routine oil changes to larger mechanical repairs, National Automotive can solve your issues and have you back in operation. The shop is located right off of I-17 and Thunderbird off Sweetwater Avenue, or call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 at 602-978-3278. Built mountain tough, Scree Gear offers hunters the highest quality clothing for affordable prices. With patterns designed by military concealment specialists, Scree Gear brings you closer to the game without being detected. With every climate in mind, Scree Gear hosts a huge selection of clothing for all the terrains of North America and beyond. Check out Scree Gear today at www.screegear.com. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ for 15% off your first order. Real estate agents, are you looking to make your listing stand out? Arizona Listing Media has been transforming real estate listings since 2013 with their 5-star Google-rated services. Arizona Listing Media offers stunning photography, captivating drone footage, immersive 3D tours, and engaging video reels to showcase your properties at their very best. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game? Visit ArizonaListingMedia.com and book your session today. Let's make your next listing unforgettable.
All right, guys, welcome to part 2, where we're sitting down here at the Hike to Hunt Challenge. We're talking with TDK Safaris. We've got Dakota with us. If you listen to the first episode, we kind of just did a bunch of introductory stuff and then started to get into some of the meat and potatoes, but I think we teed up really nicely to talk about some of the real kind of gritty stuff and walk us through what the African hunting experience is like. Because I think a lot of Western hunters, not even Western hunters, just U.S. hunters are very used to one specific style of hunting.
Yeah.
When you go to Africa, you can do that, I guess. But in my experience, most of that went out the window. So kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's really species dependent. And
Okay.
I think the thing that Western hunters kind of get caught up on is we deal with one species, and most of the time we're not running into 5 or 6 different other species that are with that species that you're after. And a lot of these species that are over here are fairly territorial, like blessed buck, for example. They're what's called latrine animals. The major dominant ram will go to the exact same spot and do his deed every single time.
Oh, what's the other one? They're not. I don't think they're African, but black buck are like that.
Yeah. Yep.
A midden.
Yeah.
They'll have a midden where they'll go and hit every single day. Okay,
Yep.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
that changes our hunting style a little bit, right? Because we know that ram is going to be within a certain area, fairly close.
Yeah.
So our hunting experience, and again, specifically in our area is pretty rolling hills.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of mountainous terrain that we're working against.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sandy.
Okay.
So our hunting experience, a lot of it just has to do with knowing where these animals are located within our concession.
Sure.
And for those specific animals like blessed buck and some of those other, it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Impala, red hartebeest, kudu, they kind of go all over the place. So a lot of it has to come down to either driving and cutting track, or maybe driving and you just spot one and then you drive. Usually what I like to do is I'll drive mile down, trying to get downwind, and then we'll stalk in from there.
Yeah, we had attempted to do that. The first guide I had was a little more traditional in the sense of like he wanted to sit and stuff. And the second one I had was, maybe my age, mid-30s. He's like, dude, if you want to go out and walk, he's like, let's go on a stalkabout,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, 100% mate, let's go. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
So
let's do it.
we got, I think, like 40 yards on a Gims buck. And
Dude, that's some talent.
was,
Those things are stupid hard to get close to.
and then wind swirled and
Yep.
gone she was.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that was fun, man. I had a blast. And along the way, he's like pointing things out, tracks. He's like, they're going to go this way. Because at first it was a herd, and then we had one that peeled off and kind of got on her. But
Yeah.
he was showing me all sorts of cool stuff on the ground. He's like, what's their common snake they have there? Is it a black mamba or something?
Yeah, like one of their most dangerous ones.
Yeah, they were just big. It was a huge snake track in the middle of the sand.
Well, so there's rock python. Like, I'm a reptile nerd.
Okay.
I love reptiles. So there's probably 150 in South Africa alone. There's 150 different species of snakes.
I think it was one of the more common ones, but he's like, that's probably like I don't know.
Could be a rock python if it was like super wide.
Yeah, it's probably about that wide.
Yeah, so probably a rock python.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, black mambas get really, really long, but they're slender.
Okay. But it was cool. We were looking at things like that in the dirt along the way, and he's just explaining stuff to me. So that was kind of neat to get out and do a little bit of spot and stock
For sure.
stuff out there.
And I think as archery hunters, like,
yeah,
we love doing that. That's part of the reason why we love archery, right?
absolutely.
So I'm the same. I'm fairly traditional when it comes to that. I love doing spot and stock.
I wonder how hard it is. It might be impossible, but spot and stock a kudu would be pretty dope.
It's
because I killed mine from a blind. So
yeah, it's an experience.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Have
Because
you
I hunted mine from a blind.
Okay.
But I've had clients that have come over and we've done spot and stock.
That'd be awesome. So yeah, typically like we're used to getting up super early in the morning. All right, and then but you can also do midday hunts.
Yep.
Okay. Are you sitting over water?
Most of the time, yeah. We've got a couple things that we can do. So we've got some in-ground blinds, which I don't know if you had those experiences in an in-ground or if it was like above ground. Some outfitters do it like with a pop-up or...
I had like stilts.
Yep.
Was one.
Yep.
And then I had one where it's like almost like a bunker.
Yeah.
And you're like, I won't say eye level with the ground, but maybe 2-3 feet off the ground because you're standing up or whatever. So,
yeah. So depending on season, usually like dead of winter, like we'll sit midday because animals love coming in just because there's not a lot of water around.
Okay.
Thankfully in our area, we're in the Waterberg region, which is it's a pretty recognized like biosphere, like even by UNESCO.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the like we harbor a lot of water in that area.
Okay.
So thankfully we built tanks just because we want our animals to be healthy. We don't want to have to have them go searching.
Yeah.
Like we want to give them those things.
Yep.
But yeah, we have a lot of the in-ground blinds and stuff. So midday works out well.
Yeah, absolutely. How many like species diversity? Do you know offhand roughly how many species there are?
I mean, in South Africa alone, there's probably hundreds.
Okay.
In our concession, we have about 30 huntable species.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And that's all the way from Cape Buffalo all the way down to like genet and some of those like cats and stuff.
Okay. Do you have eland too?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. what's bigger, I guess, a Cape Buffalo or an eland?
Weight wise, buffalo. Height wise, eland.
Eland. Okay.
Yeah,
they stand
eland
a
are
little taller.
taller on the shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw. I don't know if I saw any eland or not. I saw one on the ground. My buddy had shot one there, but I don't know that I ever saw one walk in. They one of the guys there specifically wanted one, so he was hunting them at I think a different part of the like corner.
Yep.
But yeah, those are crazy, crazy animals.
Massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Our hunts, like, what would you say is a good mixture of the hunts out there between spot and stock and blind? Like, what do you typically recommend when a client comes out? Are you ever, I mean, do you ask them that typically? Like, how do you want to hunt? Or
Yeah.
like, what does that look like?
We'll definitely ask them.
Okay.
Some people prefer blinds. Like there's a lot of Eastern hunters like from the Eastern United States who are used to tree stands and all that kind of stuff. So they like that.
Yep.
Western hunters love the spot and stock stuff. So we try to make sure that we cater to the client.
Okay.
And again, like I told you, I'm more about the spot and stock. I just think it's one, more fun.
Sure.
You know, you get in on an animal like that. But two is just it's a better overall experience in my opinion.
I just get antsy, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Especially in those down times when there's nothing coming in to a blind.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting there and it's nice and comfortable, and then you just start dozing off, and
Yeah.
then something comes in and your guide slaps you, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Let's talk a little bit about gear and then some prep and stuff like that. So you had said like specifically, okay, I was going to shoot an elephant. I had to do 80 pound. So let's talk about a little bit about poundage, what people expect, where that kind of changes maybe for species and stuff. Because obviously, like shooting 80 pounds for an impala is not necessary.
Yeah,
that's like a whitetail out there. But you start getting into the bigger stuff, like I don't know, would that change maybe at sable?
You would actually be surprised. So I would say most of the time, your general elk setup will work fairly well, almost all the way up. And like again, I shot my buffalo with 70 pounds.
Yeah.
It will work.
Okay.
Do I want more? Yeah, especially for buffalo. I would say probably as it goes to eland, that's probably where you want to start up in poundage a little bit.
Okay.
Sable and stuff like that are still fairly thin skinned.
Okay.
They're big, but they're still fairly thin
I
skinned.
guess they do just get kind of more thicker.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yep.
Okay. What about broadheads? What do you recommend? You're always.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to be controversial right now or not.
That's like asking people caliber, but you're always going to get people that like, oh, I shot this with a mechanical and it worked just fine, which is true. Yeah,
for sure.
But I don't know. I would think typically you might want to consider using a fixed blade.
I would say especially on the bigger ones for sure. Obviously, I think like Josh Bomar, he's like been over there a lot and he does his beast broadheads. I've seen those work.
Okay.
Do I prefer like fixed blades? Yeah. But as long as you can prove to me that you can shoot, I really don't have an issue.
Okay.
As long as poundage, arrow weight, and all that stuff matches up, I think. Fine.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I shot everything over there with fixed blades, and I had no issues.
And that's been my personal experience too. Like I've only done fixed.
Yeah.
I haven't shot anything with mechanical.
I saw a myriad of stuff. Like at the time, I was using the afflictors. Somebody else there was using those Valkyries, which those, dude. The guys that were hitting animals with those, because there's two different guides that I went with over there, and they had those long Valkyries, like the super long ones.
Yep.
I don't know what they're called, but Valkyrie something. But they were just smacking and like just insane blood trails.
Yeah,
it was cool. I wish I had at the time started using the Evolution Outdoors that I'm using now, because I've been super impressed with those. But yeah, the flex blades were just smacking stuff.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Let's see. Yeah, poundage, broadheads, anything else I'm thinking of? Like, do you really need your binoculars? You probably don't need to bring those necessarily, or should you?
You don't need to. I would.
Okay.
A lot of it just comes down to like if you're on a herd of animals and your guide is trying to point one out to you,
Good point.
Specifically if you're bow hunting with a rifle, obviously it makes it a little bit easier. You just look through your scope.
Yeah, scope. Yeah.
But specifically on archery hunts, if you're looking at a herd of animals, you want to make sure you're shooting the right one. Because I'm sure they kind of gave you the spiel over there, but if there's blood, that's an animal down considered, even regardless of whether you find it.
Yep.
Like the outfitters will usually work with you, and if they find it later on, like as a deadhead or something, they'll bring it and ship it. But yeah, you want to make sure you're shooting the right animal.
Yeah, that's a great thing to know, is if you need to make sure you're ultra proficient before you go on a trip like this, because if you draw blood, paid for it.
Yep.
So whether it's like, oh, it just skimmed the leg, like my baboon was probably fine. Like I just barely nicked his arm and he's
Yep.
pissed, right?
Yep.
But still paid for it. So
Yep.
trying to think what other gear, anything I might have missed.
As far as equipment goes, probably not. As far as rifle calibers, I mean, obviously I know we're at an archery event, but for rifle calibers, 30 caliber pretty much for almost any animal.
Sure.
As you start going into the tiny 10, like Diker and Red Diker and stuff like that, it sounds kind of weird, but going up to a 375 with a solid.
Okay.
Pokes a hole, doesn't blow the hide to smithereens,
Right.
with a fast bullet like a 300 Winchester or something.
Yeah.
So those are definitely good for that.
Yep.
If we want to talk about like clothing and stuff like that, layers.
Yeah.
Layer. As you know, like it's cold in the mornings.
Oh yeah.
And then gets really warm in the daytime.
Yep.
And most of the time you're driving to the spot where you're probably going to get off and walk.
Yeah.
That can get pretty darn chilly, pretty darn quick.
Definitely.
So making sure you have a good, nice jacket, but that you can strip down and layer off with.
Perfect. I just had something pop up in my head. I was like, oh, I should say that. Dang it. Hold on. Let me think. So just personal preference. I think the archery shop, I don't know if it was you or who, it might have been Eddie or somebody, but they were just like, hey, take an extra, you have an old string with you? And I was like, yeah, I've got an old pair of bowstrings. Like, it's not really worn out. I just decided to get newer ones before I went. And they're like, cool, well, take the extra. You just never know. And God forbid you're in Africa and trying to find a bowstring. Good luck.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at. But
well, the similarities between Arizona and theirs, like quite close.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the trees over there have some kind of thorns or some kind of sticker that could catch on a string and the hunt. So yeah, definitely making sure you have an extra string and stuff like that would be good.
Absolutely. Sure. So yeah, maybe take a couple extra like critical items, I would call it, whether it's a bowstring or something. Just general non-hunting stuff. Make sure you have your power adapter with you, probably, obviously, for phones.
And most of the time, Amazon will have like the actual adapter for the plug and stuff. And then, you bring your regular like power strip and stuff and make sure you all plug all your stuff in. And cameras is a big one.
Yes. Bring any cameras with you.
Yep.
Video gear that you have. So you can make sure you take your capture adapter. And
100%.
Phone scope or whatever.
Yep.
What is one of the biggest questions that you typically get from hunters that is it safe? I mean, how often do you hear that?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And in fact, I've actually heard it already here a couple times. A lot of it just comes down to, again, like kind of we said in the first segment, the sensationalization of particularly one party that's over in South Africa, the EFF.
Okay.
The likelihood of you being involved in anything is close to zero.
Okay.
Like relatively.
Yeah.
Like again, if you're going into like the ghetto at night, okay. Like you're probably asking for it, but most of the time your outfitter is going to meet you there. We meet you there.
Sure.
And then we take you to camp and then we bring you back to the airport. So unless we're going somewhere like Kruger National Park, if we're doing an outing like that or something like that, you're always going to be with your outfitter or somebody that knows the area.
Okay.
So yeah, is it safe is definitely a big question that we get.
Absolutely.
Resounding answer is yes.
Cool. And then my next question, which you just kind of answered, was like, what measures does TDK specifically take? And honestly, it's just kind of that like catering to taking you to and from locations, making sure that you're escorted, that you're, never really alone and just kind of wandering.
Yeah. And I mean, we've taken those experiences just from our own hunts, right? Like we understood exactly what it's like to be a first-time hunter going to Africa and not really knowing what to expect. So we've kind of gleaned what we do with our clients from those experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
one side random question I was gonna ask is, how big roughly is your concession? Like what span are you hunting typically?
So we personally we own about 7,000 acres.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's a good spread, man. That's like a lot of animals' typical home ranges.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the conservation and like the community impact, because I thought this was really cool from what I saw. I mean, you kind of hear about it, right? You have people tell you certain things, and then you see it and you're like, seeing your dollars that you spend immediately injected into the community, and obviously conservation, we kind of understand that too. But Just talk a little bit about the why behind safari hunting and how those hunts like support conservation and local communities.
Yeah. And partly, I want to start off like I think South Africa gets kind of a bad rap, a lot of it because it is a lot of private land.
Okay.
But what that's done is allowed these animal populations to continue to grow without habitat destruction. We don't see it a lot in Zimbabwe and Botswana, but their government efficacy is quite low. So they don't have a lot of growth.
Okay.
Which is why, national parks don't get encroached on and like land just doesn't disappear for like agriculture and, community developments. So at the beginning, kind of as private land ownership in South Africa grew, specifically, I think probably one of the biggest proponents for South African conservation is the Bontebuck.
Okay.
They were almost extinct, I think, by like the 1940s, I want to say.
Okay.
And as one private landowner took some of those animals and placed them in his concession and then started kind of allowing other landowners to remove them and take them to their concessions,
Right.
we now have an overpopulation of Bontebuck.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks volumes right there. While yes, is it the best? No, but it's how South Africa has been able to maintain the kind of wildlife that they have.
Sure. Yeah, there's been some specific species too out of Texas that the same thing has happened, right?
Mhm.
They've gone like the scimitar oryx.
Yep.
I think it's all but gone extinct in its homeland of was it Chad or something like that, and then they were able to, fortunately it still exists because of the operations in Texas and stuff like that happened. So that's cool. A lot of people ask, what happens to the meat?
So specifically with us,
Yeah.
what we do is we'll fill our freezers at camp. We don't feed our clients anything but wild game. I mean, with the exception of veggies and stuff like that, obviously.
Right.
But we feed nothing but wild game. If our freezers are full, it goes to the people that we employ.
Yep.
It'll fill their freezers if we still have an overabundance. We have an orphanage that's about an hour outside of Fallwater.
Okay.
It's called The Fold. We'll donate to them. And if they don't need it, there's another one that's in Morimole, I believe.
Okay.
We'll donate to them. And if they don't need any, then we sell it to a butcher in town.
Nice.
And so everybody can buy it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember just the awesome table fare that I had when I was there. It was like, that was an unforgettable experience.
Yep.
I know, like tonight we're having kudu this, we're having impala this, tonight it's this. Like, it's just awesome. You get to taste
Yeah.
a little bit of everything.
Speaking of meat, what was your favorite?
I had some sort of schnitzel. I think it was kudu schnitzel with like a balsamic dip that the guy, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yep.
The other thing I noticed too was just how good I felt after I ate over there. So like I had the guy made, it looked like an alligator, massive loaf of bread. And I was like, I'm expecting like, dude, I'm going to have like a food coma after this. I felt nothing.
Yeah.
I felt great.
Yep.
I was like, I don't feel bogged down. It's just got to be different wheat, different flour, whatever it is. But I felt awesome. And I was like, dude, I feel way different than if I were to have this same meal at home in America.
Well, it's not ultra processed.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
It's coming straight from the field. It's getting milled and then it's getting shipped.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to go back and have some of that just food again and not feel like, bleh.
Right.
So,
Yep.
I really like too. I don't know what they're called. Maybe you know the name. But it was like meat pies. They had a ton of different. I mean, it could be all sorts of peppers.
Babuti.
Is that what it is?
Like
Okay.
like a shepherd's pie kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah. It almost looks like a little pie pastry thing. It's usually filled with like meat and gravy and other stuff. We bought some, I think, from a gas station.
I'm
But
wondering if it's also
we had some for lunch too. Also, they bring like a little lunchbox because we did a midday sit. So
Okay.
we brought like a little lunchbox with them, and we
Yep.
had like apple juice or something or whatever.
Yeah.
These little meat pies.
Yep.
They had guinea inside one of them. Is that
Ooh.
the little birds?
That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Spotted,
Yes.
little spotted birds.
Yeah. So we had some of those, and then I don't remember what the other meat was, and something, but they're delicious.
Yep.
Either way, the food over there is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, 100%. Next time when you go over there, do me a favor.
Okay.
Try zebra.
I've heard it's awesome.
Favorite meat by far, on top of elk, on top of deer.
Really?
Top.
I've heard some of the Texas guys talk about it because they had a bunch. They hate them. They're like, because they're kind of a bully animal, to my understanding, right?
Yeah, they're nasty little critters for sure.
And so they're like, please kill a zebra. Like, I'll make a deal. Like, I'll give you like half price. Like, just get these things out of here.
Yeah.
But they have also said like it is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to try that for sure. What have you tried anything odd over there? Like something different?
I don't know that I could really say different. I mean, Zimbabwean meat pies are probably not to be trusted.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Those were good. I mean, I liked them.
Yeah.
But
when I bought the ones from the gas station, I was like, this is kind of
Yeah.
sketch, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm buying a meat pie at a gas station, but all the guys were like, dude, I swear by it. Like, they're
Yeah.
awesome. And they were.
you know what? And
they're
I
delicious.
actually take that back. We did Mapani worms.
Oh, okay.
So they're a grub that's about this big, but that big around.
Nice.
Chomped on one of those.
How was that?
Not the most pleasant
say,
experience ever, but
Probably passing that.
Yep.
That's funny. That's cool though, man. That you get to experience different things
Yeah.
like that. What is typically the best time of year to book a hunt in Africa?
For me, as an archery hunter, I kind of like that late spring, early fall.
Okay.
Especially for spot and stock. Leaves have started to fall, but they're not a blanket.
Okay.
So we're not having to fight. In a lot of our areas, like the small Mapani trees and silver cluster leaves and stuff like that, their leaves are very brittle, so they're very loud. So while the tree cover is more, there's less stuff on the ground for us to get blown by.
Sure.
So for me, that early fall, late spring. So that's like April, May,
Our
those kind of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the first step that someone needs to take basically if they want to start booking a hunt with TDK Safaris?
A lot of it is just contacting us, letting us know what exactly you're looking for. If it's first, second, third time, whatever.
Yeah.
Just so we kind of know what your experiences have been.
Right.
If you shoot us an email, you can either shoot it to the main email, which is livethedream@tdksafaris.com. Or you can get in touch directly with either me. Lisa, my mom, is the one that runs kind of the admin side.
Okay.
So she's the one that puts your booking on the calendar and takes payment and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So her email is lisa.mccarter, MCARTOR @tdksafaris.com. We used to have a Skype line that everybody could call. We've kind of gone to just our own personal cell phones.
Yeah.
So if you guys do want to book, just shoot us an email and then we'll pass those numbers along.
Okay. Let's talk about what we were talking about down there. What does it cost to hunt? What do you think it costs to hunt Africa? Right. I had a buddy that was like, yo, you just got all your stuff back and you went to Africa. What was your hunt? Like 15, 20 grand? I was like, no, dude. No.
Yeah.
You could certainly do that if you want to, but that's killing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
I shot 4 animals. I shot a kudu, 2 impala, and a baboon, and I was nowhere near that price tag.
Yeah.
So let's kind of break the stigma of, oh my gosh, I need, like you said earlier, to sell a kidney to do this.
Yeah.
What are some ballpark numbers? And obviously those are likely to change depending on concessions, species, all that. But just ballpark, loosely speaking, what should people expect to book a hunt?
I would say probably beginning safari, you're looking around $5,000.
Okay.
We've got a package going right now. It's 7 days, 1 hunter with 5 or 6 animals for $4,750.
Yeah.
That's obviously not including airfare.
Sure.
And the taxidermy afterwards.
Right.
But all in all, you're probably looking around 7.
Okay.
Maybe 8.
Okay.
To when you're all said and done. Depending on when you book your airfare, a lot of this it kind of depends on what you're doing, right? Kind of like you said earlier with the species and concessions and stuff like that. If you're waiting a month before to book your plane tickets, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more than you would if you booked a year out, right?
Yep.
So a lot of it just comes down to pre-planning.
Okay. Perfect. And then that was perfect that you alluded to that too. I had put out a feeler on Instagram of questions people had from Africa, and that was the question: is what's the cost of me getting my taxidermy back? So I ballpark.
So we actually had the taxidermist that we work with, and I was kind of particular about it. So I worked for a taxidermist just out of high school, who has done award-winning work and stuff like that. So he kind of ruined me a little bit because I go to Cabela's now and I'm like,
you're critical.
Yeah. But it made it really good now going to clients and being like, hey, we can trust this guy. He knows what he's doing. So I reached out to him. His brother is actually part of the logistics company that we work with, to get it shipped over.
Okay.
And he put a quote for us. If it's dip and pack, which for those of your listeners that don't know, dip and pack is once the hides are salted, tanned, and kind of ready to go, there's no hair slippage or anything, they dip it in a chemical mixture that essentially kills all the pests and stuff.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't get over to the States.
Yep.
And then it's just the skull and the horns that are in the crate.
Okay.
I think they did. I think it was like 5 animals. It was like $1,800 to get it shipped.
Okay.
That would change also depending on size of your crate.
Sure.
If you did mounts over in Africa,
Yep.
or if you had 5-10 different species.
Yeah. So I had 3 species that came over. Well, yeah, two Impala, and then a kudu. But I did 2 pedestal mounts and a Euro. So obviously that's going to be a little bit more probably than the average guy that just gets your flat skins and Euros and stuff like that. But it just all depends. But yeah, I mean, average turnaround time for something like that, probably what, a year?
Usually.
Okay.
And that's just to get it to your door. Unless you're doing a mount or something over there, it'd be a year for you to get your mount, but then you've got to, obviously, if you're doing dip and pack, then your taxidermist lead time.
Right.
So.
And then I'll kind of help alleviate some pain because this was part of my learning experience. And like I was talking to you, you're going to run into multiple people when you're talking to the shipping the stuff over. So you're going to hear from your taxidermist, and your taxidermist is different than your outfitter. They're not usually one and the same. Then on top of that, your taxidermist is going to hand you over to a customs import broker. And then on top of that, the customs import broker may refer you to a FDA certified taxidermist, depending on your stuff. In my case, my mounts were finished, so I didn't have to get a FDA certification. So they just release it and send it to your door. But if you have anything, I guess, quote unquote, like raw or whatever, I'm not sure, maybe you can explain that better, but then you'll have to get a FDA certification, and it's going to cost a little bit extra because you're going to have it shipped to a taxidermist that can also certify it and write it off and all that stuff. So
I don't know that I've ever actually heard of the FDA certification. A lot of our clients that have done the dip and pack have never had that issue.
Yeah.
So I have not run into that. In
that was
12 years that we've been doing it. So
I was like, what?
yeah.
So
yeah, it does seem like a lot, but like I said, so the taxidermist that we work with is 30 minutes from us.
Nice.
Again, his brother is what does the South African logistics side.
Okay.
We've developed multiple relationships with multiple different companies like Coppersmith. Gallagher Transport is another one that we work with. So we have really close relationships. And the great thing about us being, I mean, we live in Phoenix. The great thing about us being here is the U.S. side, if there's something going on, the client can reach out to us and say, hey, like I'm having an issue. And then we can kind of help like mediate a little bit.
Sure.
We haven't run into any issues so far as of working with the guys that we've worked with. We've done a lot to make sure that we're choosing the right people to make this experience smooth.
That's awesome. That's the biggest thing, man, is just find somebody reputable, somebody trustworthy.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that doesn't have the horror stories. And once you have an outfit like that, run with those people for life, man. Like, just keep going because that's what you want to stay with. So absolutely. Man, anything else that you can think of?
Honestly, like just for those that are listening, I want to let you know that Africa is not as far away as you think. We've kind of covered that a little bit. I will tell you, and Stephen can tell you, once you go there, you will have to go back.
Absolutely.
It gets into your blood, like 100%. The country is just, and it doesn't matter if you're in South Africa or Zimbabwe or Botswana, each place has its own thing to offer. And just make sure when you go over there that you're experiencing all of it to the fullest. Because again, you'll want to go time after time after time, and most likely, like we said, with the same person, because you've built that relationship. And that's why we love being over here. I can go attend these shows. You know, there was a group that just went out a little bit ago that had just gotten back in May.
Oh, cool.
From their hunt in May, and it was like 13 people or something, and they were like, "Yeah, we had a good time. We're already pre-booked for 2027."
Nice.
Like, so it's good to be able to kinder those relationships. So.
Absolutely. My battery's about to die on my camera, but I'll ask you one more quick question. Kids, what age would you recommend to not bring a child on a hunt? Like, say a parent wanted to bring their kid with them, and then that's just bringing them along. 2, how old would you recommend them to be in order to hunt? Or maybe there's rules over there already for that, but what's advice on that?
So there's not a specific age limit for them to hunt. I would say probably like toddler age is probably a not great time to bring them.
Sure.
Bring them when, because I don't have kids, so I don't really know what age range they start understanding, like picking up that thing squiggling on the ground is probably not a good idea. There's a lot of species of bugs and stuff over there that are venomous, poisonous, all that kind of stuff. So making sure that that they can just heed direction is good.
Let's say,
and anybody under 13 stays free with us.
Okay. I was going to say I would probably gauge at like 10
probably.
would be the lowest I would probably bring. I'd
Yeah.
be more comfortable at like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, hunting probably, I don't know, 16 maybe, or even.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that depends on the kid.
Yeah, we've had 14-year-olds,
Okay.
15-year-olds hunt.
Cool.
As long as they can demonstrate that they can operate a firearm safely, or they're archery hunting, which most of the time usually kids that young aren't.
Okay.
Probably in our experience, but
probably a crossbow at that point if they're
Probably.
doing, and then
Yeah.
for caliber that might be a little dicey too, because if you got to use a big enough caliber to bring something down, that might rule out.
Yeah, well, and
range.
the equipment that we have, like we have 308s. It's a rental rifle, and they don't kick that bad. So
Nice. Perfect. Awesome. Well, the camera just died.
Yep.
So. I think this is perfect timing, man.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
No, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I
a
was
lot.
excited. I
Yeah.
love talking Africa. 'Cause
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yep.
once you go, it's like, when's the next time I'm going back? So,
Yep. Exactly.
drop the name of, or just, well, the name is TDK, but
Yep.
drop the website again.
Yeah, so it's www.tdksafaris.com. We've got a YouTube, we've got Instagram. It's at TDK_safaris or Instagram. It's just TDK Safaris on YouTube.
Yeah. Perfect. And then I'll do a social media post. I'll tag you guys in it and stuff
Yeah.
so people can find you easily there
100%.
too. But yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's
It was
cooled off
awesome.
a little bit. It's
Yeah, I
nice.
know. Thankfully, these clouds have started rolling in.
It was getting dicey there. For you,
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll do another one in the future, and we'll have to talk some more Africa hunting with you.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and smash those 5 stars on iTunes or Spotify and leave a little review at the bottom. It'll really help us out. For our short films, go subscribe over on YouTube. Just search Bowhunting AZ. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bowhunting AZ. Good luck to everyone this season. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.